You know, before I start working on anything, especially with this car, I like to sit here and just think, what the fuck did I get myself into? It is a lot, but welcome back, guys. We're back at it again with the 1968 Ford Mustang. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe if you enjoy the content, but also click on my channel and go all the way to the first video and you get to see the start of the build for this car. It's been a while since I've put hands on the car. I haven't had any time to really do anything to it. Sadly, I don't do this for a living, so all of this has to be done on my free time. And with my day job, it's taking up a lot of my free time around this time of year. It gets pretty busy, so the videos are going to be pretty spaced out. I'll try and stay on the grind, but yeah, the work week is getting pretty crazy. But those of you who are up to date with this car and have been watching every single video, I appreciate y'all very much. It does help knowing that there's a couple people watching the series. Those of you who are actively commenting and liking the videos, I thank you for that. Really appreciate it. For those of you who are new and you don't want to go back, I'm just going to give you a complete rundown. I'm not even going to show you because it's selfish. You should go back and watch, but got new seats for the car, floor pans replaced, painted, roof sanded down, painted, rear trunk sanded down. It's a bare metal, hasn't been painted, but we're working on that. You know about the dent, you know about the rust, and just pretty much my goals that I have for this car. So yeah, if you're new, please go back, watch my first video, and then you also get to see the wheels that I bought for the car. If you guys want to see any content on the S550, nobody has said anything, but I don't blame y'all. Y'all are here for this. I do have an S550 that is supercharged. If y'all want a rundown video of this car and everything that's done to it, give y'all a little sneak peek about this car. But let's address this. This video, I would like to get these holes addressed, this dent here addressed, start working on finishing the trunk. I did start the process of sanding it down, obviously, to bare metal. You see these black spots, these are all low points, so we're gonna have to go over Bondo for that. I might do sections of the car and come out with videos for that. This exhaust is not for the car. That will be a separate video. This is for a different car. Honestly, I can't find my spray bottle anywhere, so I'm going to go on with tire cleaner. Fuck it. Just clean the surface. Oh, that smells really strong. Don't judge me because I'm using a carpenter hammer. Get it flat in those areas where it kind of pokes out a little bit. So what I got going on is I have the mesh in here. It's going to act as support for the Bondo glass. And it does kind of move around in here a little bit, but as long as I pull down with it, if I pull down with it, it'll stay in place. This, I'm going to clean this inside out. A little bit more got in here. But I got all the rust away. Oh, there's some dirt in here from sanding. That I promise you, that's from sanding it down. A lot of this got stuck in here. I had this clean. It was all painted black with that rust informer. We'll clean this out too. I'm not, obviously, you know, it still has this backside. The backside is solid, so I'm just going to go right over it with that. I got to be careful not to move this around too much. Go ahead and pop this thing open. Just Just gonna pour this on here. Get the hardener. Spread the hardener across. Probably should be wearing a mask for this, but I'm a man, so just like I refuse to read instructions, I'm refusing to wear a mask. Got a good mixture. Now I think we're good to go ahead and spread this. I'm gonna hold this from the back side. Just lay it on there. Lay it on there. Alright, so we got it on there as best we can. Without pushing it around too much. That wire mesh in there kind of was moving around a little bit. We got this hole filled in as well. We're going to give this a little more than the recommended 15 minutes. We're probably going to give it an hour. Just let this thing harden, sand it down, and then we go over the whole thing again with body filler. So that stuff is for filling in those bigger gaps. And then you go in with the body filler, which kind of is a little bit finer. It's easier to sand down too. We get the whole thing addressed. Those are the only holes in the car, so we should be good with that for a while. We'll give this an hour and then we'll come back to it. All right, so went ahead and got the filler put on in here. It is solid. It's a new day because I got carried away with some other stuff. So we're tackling this a couple days later since y'all seen the last bit. So what we're going to go ahead and do is go over it. I think it says to go over it with 80, but all I have is 60. But I do have a worn out pad of 60. So we'll go ahead. We're probably going to just go ahead and hit it with that. So one of the big issues I was having was figuring out if I need to primer and then apply this. So let's see what the directions say. I'm gonna just take the safe route and just primer it. First we need to clean the surface. I didn't remember buying 6, but okay. All right, that should do it for now. We're gonna give this, it says to give it 2 to 4 hours before dry sanding. All right, so we got this sprayed down already with the 2-in-1 filler and sandable primer. Just to give a good surface. I tried doing some research online to figure out what's best for Bondo, for the body filler. Some people say to primer it. Some people just say it's okay for bare metal. I was seeing more people say just to go ahead and primer it before you apply that, because deal with moisture and whatnot, which it is very humid here. I don't think it'd be an issue, but just in case something does go wrong, I'll do bare metal next time. I'm gonna do the same thing for the trunk, get it all cleaned up, and then primer that as well, so I can start getting all these pinholes finished and then all these low spots done. So we already have the rear end all primered. What we're going to start working on now, since this is all dried up and ready to go, is start getting these holes filled in, and it kind of like has a sharp dent here. You can see really well with the primer laid over top. So what we're going to go ahead and do is shake our body filler, go over that, let it dry out, sand this smooth, get it primered again, and make sure that from here all the way around it's one very nice uniform shape. No bumps, nothing. Now we're gonna start addressing this dent. Alright. Oh, that's got a unique smell. Take our hardener. Might have been too much, but I need it to become one solid color, and then we'll start applying this. We're ready to start applying it. Alright, I want our pretty heavy. Hopefully it's not too bad. Really, there's nothing we can do until it hardens, and then just sand it. There was some low spots here. We had that crease that was kind of right here. Damn, I keep touching it. We had this crease that was right here again with the hole, and then same thing over here. I would like to get a little bit more on that. I'd rather have too much Bondo built up in one area than not enough, because then you have to go over it with more. At least if you have too much, you can just sand it down to what you need, to where you need it. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and let this dry out, then we'll come back, sand it smooth, figure out what else we need to get this area fixed up. Alright, so it might have been a little bit of overkill, but I went ahead and let this cure for 24 hours. So what we're going to go ahead and do is now we got to start knocking some of this down, even it all out. Hopefully this is enough. I don't have to apply anymore. It looks like from the naked eye it's good, but we're not going to really know until we start sanding some of this down. Let's go ahead and do that. Plug in my fan, that way I'm not just blowing this dust everywhere, just going to blow it outside. Oh no, you can still see that, and then I can still feel the cave in here. So it kind of goes in a little bit here. I'll blend that edge a little bit. It's still low here. Right there. Here. There. So we got these three areas. We had a little bit of a crease over here along with a dent. This feels almost fine, but it feels a little too flat. You can feel that it curves, it's flat, and then continues back to its shape. This was where the smaller hole was. This one, it's got just the, again, it's just too flat. So I need to build up more and go in with a finer sandpaper. And then this one, this was our big hole that rusted all the way through that we need to address again. So pretty much the three spots that we need to address, we needed to initially address, are what we have to continue working on. So it's kind of annoying. I think I just sanded off too much is what it was, or I just didn't apply it right. So now what we're gonna do is pretty much repeat the process again. Get it cleaned up and all this dust off, but really focus on putting it in these three areas only, because everywhere else is all right. These are a little low, but the, you know, the spotting putty will really get those areas that are kind of rough. All right, so we're gonna go. There we go. I think this should be good enough. Hopefully that'll be enough. I probably should have hit it by hand with one of these. That way I'm in complete control. So when we come back to this, we're not gonna hit it with an orbital sander. We'll just do it all by hand. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, that's it for this, because I don't want to have to continue the whole process of applying, sanding, I sand down too much, apply again. So then we're gonna start addressing the rest of the car, sanding down everything, and then primering it just like we did the rear end. So fingers crossed, this is the last we're messing with Bondo, at least for a while.
2 hours later.
All right, so I think I got it pretty good for the most part. I tackled a lot of this off camera, but it feels pretty smooth. We need to finally at some point address this dent. You can actually see it a little bit more while it's primered, but you can still see a little bit of a shadow. It was doing the same thing over here, but I did a bunch of sanding, primering, going up and down in grit, and I got it good over here. So I'm going to tackle these two spots, but they feel smooth, but I'm gonna go ahead and tackle these two spots off camera. But that's what we're going to call it with this video. Next video, we're going to start addressing the whole rear end. We're going to get these holes filled in because this is for the trim, and I don't want the trim or lettering in the rear end anymore. So we'll get all of this sanded down, all of it primered, move this to the middle of the garage, and then hopefully that'll be it for the rear end. And then for the most part, everything else is just pretty much straightforward. It's just sanding, primering, not too much rust. Hopefully that'll be it with the Bondo. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the rest of this video. If you guys have any tips, tricks, or any ideas, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I hope you all enjoy the video. If you do, please leave a like, and I'll see you on the next one.